my name is Miss Laura and welcome back to another Dowdell Library's CD Studio where creativity becomes life. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working with our 3D printer again, but we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to go straight into one of the websites that I had talked about in the first video, Tinkercad, and I'm going to show you a step-by-step on how that website gets used and how you could actually create your own object and then eventually it gets it printed. So here's the Tinkercad website. It's completely free, so you won't have to worry about paying any money for it. You could do a couple of things to start off. You could start tinkering right away on this icon, and that will take you straight to your platform where you could start making stuff. Or if you could join your class if your teacher had set up something in school, and then she would give a code and then everybody would be able to join in for that one. But what we're going to do today is we're actually, I'm going to sign into my actual account, and then we'll be able to do a step-by-step on how to create objects, where you go to find them, and then eventually after that the object will get printed, to be able to see that as well. So let me just sign in real quick. It brings you to the next page after you click on sign in, and depending on how you're going to use the website is the options that you choose. Mine for myself is through Google, so I'm going to click on that one, and then you just gotta wait for everything to load. There we go. So I'm into my actual account for Tinkercad. As you can see, I have a couple of objects that I've already created and have worked with, and I'll click on one of them just so you could see exactly what I had made. For this one, I had made during the summertime that got turned into magnets. So not everything could just be a 3D printed object. You could turn them into many other things too. And then there's a couple of objects, or options rather. You could either click on Tinker this and it'll bring you straight over where you could continue or change things that you had already made, or you could download it, and then when you download it, the file will then get sent over to the printer, and then that'll get printed. So I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm actually going to click on Create New Design so that I could show you where everything is and what everything looks like. So now here's your platform to start working with. This is actually what the bottom of your 3D printer looks like. So it gives the same type of grid, which is good to work on. And then here you could already start to see some of the objects that you could choose depending on what you want to make. You can right click to move your grid up and down, or if you didn't want to do that, it's up here at the top. You could either click on top and then or use the arrows to move yourself back and forth and side to side, whichever you're comfortable with using when you're on the computer. So let me get myself back into focus. So now here over in the corner, there's many other, they're all bracketed down into different things. The first one is basic shapes, and as I scroll down you could see that there's anything from cones to boxes to spheres. You could do hearts or stars or whichever you think that you're going to need to create whatever you're planning on creating with. But if you click on the box over here, then it brings down everything else that the website offers. You could click on text and numbers, and it brings up all the letters in the alphabet for you to choose if you're making words, or if you click on text and then you drag it over, you can actually put in the word that you're looking for your object, and then it'll create the word. Others that you could use, there's characters, any silly things from hand symbols to beanies to ice cream cones, things like that. If you're once October comes back around again, you can actually do a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin to do some kind of theme, or you could use the pumpkin right now for Thanksgiving. It's the website offers many things. There's, connector pieces in case you're making, figurines. You would use all those in your object. They also have one really cool thing were printables. They actually have things from the Smithsonian. So if you're looking to make a dinosaur theme, they got anything from, Triceratops to, the woolly mammoth. They got, headpieces, statues. They also have more dinosaur objects, so you can actually create your own dinosaur piece by piece if you really felt like it. And then they also have skeletons. If you wanted to create your own Halloween skeleton, you could put it together piece by piece as well. So what I had mentioned about dragging it over is all you would have to do if this is what you're looking for your object is you would basically just click on it, and then it would attach to your mouse piece, and then you would just, wherever you want to place it, you would just click it and it appears on your grid. So now here is where you would be able to move your grid so that you're able to see it a little bit better. And then you could even zoom in and out so that you could just get up and close with your object. Some of the options for it is that this top piece, basically, if you wanted your object smaller, you would be able to click down. But that's giving me a little bit, this top one would bring it down. Because usually some of the objects are up in the air, and you would actually click on the triangle to bring it down on your grid, because if you leave it the way that it is, when you go to print, there's going to be a gap underneath that, and it's just going to be, your printer's just going to be printing a space, and you don't want that. If you want to delete your object, say you figure that you don't need this anymore, or it's not what you're looking for, you could basically just go up to the trash can and hit delete, and it clears it off of your grid, and then you can start all over again. Some of the cool things, I'm going to bring this back for just a second. Some of the options that they have up in the corner is that if you ever wanted to see an object in a different form, they added a couple of new things to Tinkercad within the past year. One of them turned your object into a Minecraft theme, which I know a lot of you like, and then you'd be able to see what it looks like if it was in Minecraft. Another option next to it is that you would be able to see how it looks as Legos. So that's pretty cool as well. Kind of doesn't look like a skull for either one of them, but it had some really cool features. And then if you ever wanted to just go back, you could just click on the square next to it, and it'll bring you back to your design. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm actually going to go back because I already actually started working on a winter theme, and I could show you how it looks like and where I went to go get to create that one as well. So I'm going to go back. When you go back, see now, since I started another design, Tinkercad saves all of your objects no matter what. So if I really just didn't want this anymore, I could just go over here and click delete, which I'm just going to, and it'll delete your object right there. So you don't have to worry about it anymore, and it'll keep the other ones. It'll keep everything until you don't need it anymore. So now I made a snowflake last week. Let's let it load a little bit. Okay, so I had a little bit of issues bringing up my object that I had already started to create, but that's okay. That just gives me more of a chance to explain how I got it to where I was before things decided to go wrong. So over in the corner, you have an option in shape generators to click on all. And that kind of just brings up like a little bit of everything that the website can offer in one place. So one of them down at the bottom says Snowflake. So that's what I was building because I was planning on 3D printing Snowflake that actually had my name on it. So it starts out small for the object. You can click on the box in the corner where mine is and just drag it to make it bigger, because I want it to be at a decent size. And then the one that I had showed you before for text, if you click on text, I want my name to be on the snowflake. So I had already created my name, but I just got to make it smaller because this has to fit on this. So I just got to make it a little bit smaller, which is completely fine. Basically, the corner box does make things bigger, and if you drag it up, it'll make things smaller too. That's how you're able to configure exactly the height of your object. Let's get in there. Still got to go smaller. But you could put however you want, whatever you want. You could build anything that you could think of. The shapes that they offer, you could use the shapes to make, if you're starting out in the beginning, you could use them to make a house. You could do so many things with Tinkercad. And then the best part is that, eventually when you're completely done, you could save your file. And then if you have, a 3D printer, or come in to use ours, if we have a program with the 3D printer, we'd be able to print your file, which then you'd be able to go home with your actual creation. That looks good. So there, as you can see, I made my name smaller to be able to fit on the snowflake, so that when it prints, it'll print my name, and then I could use it to however I want. If you have a multicolor 3D printer, ours only prints with one color, but you could change the color of your objects just by clicking on it, because then a box appears up over here, and then if you click on it, it brings up all the colors, and you could change it to whatever you'd like. So I change it to a whiter color, since snowflakes are white, and snow is white in general. And then like your name, you could change that to whatever you want. If you have a printer that prints more than one color, it'll be able to print both of these colors, or whichever colors that you use to make your object. So now that this is completely done, what I could do is, this is our automatically saved, because Tinkercad after a while just saves your objects. You have options at the top. One is to import your 3D files. Another one is to download and 3D print, which is what we're planning to do. And then another one is you could send it, where you could share with other people on the website and apps, if you wanted to send it out that way. So I'm going to export my object, and then it gives you options over here. It gives you the option that you want to save everything in the design or the selected shape. So I'm going to click on everything in the design, because I want everything to be saved all as one. And then it'll ask you what type of file you want to print. So depending on your printer is depending on the type of file that it uses. I'm going to go ahead and click on OBJ, because that's the one that we use for our printer. And then at the bottom it says prepare model for export, and it'll start downloading. Okay, so here's our final project. After clicking on export and downloading the file gets transferred over to our printer, and then it's going to print it from there. step by step on how to use Tinkercad. I hope that it was very helpful. But now here's your chance to create your own object. The Dowdell Library for the whole month of December is going to be running a 3D printer contest. What you're going to do is exactly how I explained how to use Tinkercad. You're going to create your own object. When you're done, you're going to take a picture of it and you're going to send it to comments@dowdell.org. What we're going to do from there is we're going to take everybody's pictures, we're going to go through them, and at the end of the month, when the contest is completely done, you have up until the 31st, but when we come back after New Year's and we go through everything, we will pick a winner, and whoever's picture of their object that we choose, we will print their object on a 3D printer, and as a prize you will be able to take home your own creation. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you for our next Stay Studios Makerspace video where creativity becomes life. Bye!